Well, hello there, strategy gamers, as well as fans of Graviteam Tactics. I've got a huge thing to show you today. It's really probably my favorite part of Graviteam Tactics, and for those of you that know, this is a game I have fallen in love with head over heels, 100%, because of its realism as far as combat goes. And I know that you guys love realism in terms of strategy games. That's why you've subscribed to my channel. That's why you watch my videos. And right now, I've got something for you that I absolutely love. It's called Operation Hooper. For those of you that don't know about Operation Hooper was part of the Cold War, really. What happened was there was a government, a communist government in Angola. And I actually have a little bit to say about this because it sort of plays a part in my life. I'm actually half Portuguese, and Angola used to be a Portuguese colony. Once we allowed Angola to have their independence, they chose a communist government, and what happened was that South Africa didn't really like that. A number of different rebel organizations grew in Angola. One of them was called UNITA, and UNITA was known as, I believe, the Union of Liberation and Nationalization for Angola. And this was a union, you know, a lot of people could argue, but basically they worked for the capitalist side in the Cold War. The government of Angola worked for obviously the communist side, and I'm simplifying this big time for you guys. You know, it's much more complex than all this, but so you guys can understand the battle we're about to take place. And basically, UNITA arose and tried to take over the government and remove the communist government from power, and South Africa supported UNITA, and this created something called Operation Hooper. What happened was the South Africans supported UNITA, and the Cubans, who were led by Fidel Castro at the time, supported the Angolan People's Government. So it's a very interesting war, very controversial. Really, it's up to you guys how you feel about it. Now, I'm going to be fighting with the government. I've already, as you guys can see here, started some campaigns with UNITA. I'm going to be fighting with the government of Angola, of course, and the communist government. I believe they were called Frelimo. I know one of you guys is going to correct me on this, but I think it's Fremlino was the name of the party. And I may be wrong there, but we're going to go ahead here, and as you can see, we are in the center, and we've got a bunch of different UNITA infantry battalions. We've got the infantry battalion of UNITA here, infantry battalion of UNITA here, and over here, the motorized 61st, that's the South African forces that have gone ahead and allowed or assisted UNITA in sort of defending the country. So I think I'm going to give you guys a battle to remember, and again, I can't choose these battles entirely, because in this game, as you can see here, we're really basically moving everything just slowly. We don't, you know, anything could happen. In other words, we could set these guys on the border and the enemy won't even attack the position we set up. So it's that sort of game, and I really love that about Operation Hooper. This also takes place in the 21st century, of course, and it takes place in the 20th century, and it takes place in the late 20th century. This is 1988, 1989, you know, in terms of actual time period, and that means that we have a lot of very, very modern units here. So I'm going to go ahead, set these guys up, and I'm going to go ahead and get a battle started. Let's end the turn here. We're going to let the enemy make a turn. Now, obviously, I would do a lot more in any other instance, but here we go. Wow, look at that. They were really nice to us, and they gave us a tank battle right to start with. So I'm going to show you guys a tank battle here with UNITA. Actually, this is the South African Tank Corps against our definitely not as strong. Welcome back, and sorry about the cutoff there, but unfortunately, whenever I play this wonderful, wonderful game, I always have to restart when we're getting into a battle. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the actual map here of what's going to be happening. Now, we are being attacked by the enemy. So I'm going to go ahead, and I can see the crossroads over here. I can see where the enemy's planning to attack. I'm going to go ahead and set up some forces over here to face the enemy. I don't want these tanks facing outwards. And real quickly, before I do anything, I want to go ahead and show you guys the battle, where we're fighting, and part of the reason that I think makes Operation Hooper such an excellent add-on DLC is when we go ahead and take a look at the terrain we're fighting on, and I'm just going to get rid of these annoying flags. We'll go ahead and actually get started here. You can see that we're fighting in the jungle, and you can actually hear jungle noises if you listen closely. Sometimes you hear monkeys, you hear, not tigers, but lions roaring, you hear a bunch of beautiful different birds chirping, and it really gives you the feeling that you're in some sort of jungle, in some sort of rainforest, fighting the enemy, and especially in a modern era, it's absolutely beautiful. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a counterattack, and this is probably going to end terribly, but my attempt is not to win this battle. My attempt is to show you guys what I think think makes Op Hooper such an awesome DLC for such an awesome game to begin with. That's really not as well known as it should be. We're going to go ahead and get things started, and I will go ahead and definitely get you guys a nice look on these type of battles you're looking for. As you can see, you have to understand that in the African wars, the people didn't really have a lot of armor, etc. They had to get that armor from different countries. Now, a lot of these rebel groups got that armor from the United States. A lot of them got that armor from Great Britain, etc. A lot of them got that armor from the Soviet Union, depending on the political leanings that they had. And that's kind of what's going on in Operation Hooper. This is the very end of the Cold War, guys. This is when the Soviet Union was just about to break up, and a lot of these fledgling African countries found a lot of happiness supporting a communist government, and obviously a lot of people in that country didn't want to support a communist government. So such a radical government would, of course, bring dissent. But in this case, this was the case of the Angolan people being attacked by, unfortunately, an aggressor. In this case, we're going to go ahead and, as you can see, we are already in contact with the enemy units. Now, this is part of Op Hooper that I absolutely love. I'm going to go ahead and bring these guys over this way. And we've already started, guys, in a devastating attack here. As you can see, the enemy's got some interesting-looking APCs here. Now, these are, I believe, South African forces. These are not UNITA forces. We are fighting the South African government. And actually, we're getting hit so hard, we've already lost a vehicle. And listen, fighting the South Africans is not an easy task. These are exceptional fighters. We just got a commander killed here. You can see how quickly the situation develops. We just got our tank hit here, and our tank is actually on fire. The men are flying out, absolutely terrified, and in serious danger. You can see we have a major South African attack front coming over here, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to bring all of my units, even though I don't think they can make much of a difference at this point over here. We've lost all of our tanks. We do have one tank that's continuing to fire, and I'm going to go ahead and get close to it, but I believe he's about to give up, and I'm just going to have him defend this position and hopefully hit some enemy tanks. Let's go ahead and see if we can go ahead. Ooh, we're targeting, but it doesn't make much of a difference. The tank is running. Look at this, we're retreating. So this is the kind of, this is not the greatest example of the actual modern combat. You can get airstrikes here, etc., but it actually is pretty good. It's showing you the superiority of the South African forces in this war. They had much better armor. As you can see, this is just an APC. It blew the hell out of one of our tanks. And that's not good. So we're going to go ahead and get the rest of these guys over here. I'll actually go ahead and increase the speed of the battle a little bit, because I really do want to get to a point where, there we go. Actually, we can stop here. We're already having some stuff happen. Bringing a lot of men over here, and this is one of the beautiful things about the modern combat in Operation Hooper, is number one, you're going to get action quickly, unlike a lot of the other battles in Graviteam tactics, where things don't happen immediately. In this case, you're going to get battle immediately. Usually what I like to do is stop the game and go ahead, venture into the battle, and show you guys that, but I didn't even need to do that here. The battle commenced immediately. And at this point, unfortunately, we are in a pretty poor starting position, but you really can't counter these enemy attacks. We certainly could have defended much better. We lost our tanks extremely quickly, and I did group them up because I really wanted to just get into the battle. Let's see if we can go ahead and hit an enemy tank. That'd be great, or at least destroy an enemy APC. That'll at least be a tiny little accomplishment. But you can see that our Elena point over here, excuse me, Etona, one of our commanders, his APC's been hit. It's on fire. It's not looking good for us. We're going to go ahead and just do a quick tour of the battlefield and take a look at the South African armor that's coming up across us. And because you can see they're actually getting some troops out. Some of them are taking cover over here. These are the South African infantry that are getting out of these APCs to counter our men. And so far, it's looking bad for us. All we can do is try to get into an infantry battle here. But without any tanks, we're in a lot of trouble. And this is not a tank, that is an APC. But I'm going to go ahead and target this position anyway, just to see if I can at least get a kill or two. We'll also take this guy in target. Oh, he's dead. That APC's already been killed. So you can see how quickly these battles can take place. And again, you can fight as South Africa if you wish. You can obviously have the technological advantage. Maybe not a numbers advantage, and certainly not a land advantage. You start on a very tiny area of land to progress towards victory, but you still have a great time. And as you can see right here, we are firing at the South African troops, but so far, they've taken few, if any, casualties. They've got a wounded soldier all the way back here. You can tell because he's got a little, you can see a little orange plus above his head, which means he's wounded. Besides that, I mean, these guys have put up an amazing fight. So really hats off to them. Anyway, guys, this is Operation Hooper. I absolutely adore it. It's really jungle warfare. There's a lot of infantry combat in this game. A ton of infantry combat. As you can see, the battle is ending right now because we suffered a total defeat. I would be absolutely surprised if we even killed any of the enemy South African troops. Really, that's the point of Operation Hooper, is to give you that semblance of infantry combat. Now, I showed you a tank battle, but really, most of these battles are poorly equipped infantry units fighting poorly equipped infantry units. Now, that may not sound extremely exciting, but believe me, it is. And here we go, the end of the turn. We lost 21 men, 4 wounded. We actually managed to kill 2 of the enemy. I don't know what we did. We probably hit an APC or something. I'm not really sure. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching this sort of, I guess you'd call it a review of this DLC. I'd highly recommend getting this DLC, and if you don't already have Graviteam Tactics, and you're a strategy fan, and especially a World War II fan, or a fan of any sort of modern war, you need to get this game. This is not a well-known game, and it upsets me so much that people don't know about it, that people aren't playing it, that people aren't talking about it. This game is amazing. Get started playing it. And of course, if you guys want me to do a campaign on one of these different units, groups, etc., whatever you want to call it, political parties, I'd love to. I actually started an UNITA campaign, and I'd love to go ahead and restart it for your guys' viewing pleasure. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Hope you have an awesome day, and don't forget to take care.